Can I have Danny Vetrano and his family step up to the podium with me? We'll start a little bit early because we've got 3 of these to do. I have a proclamation for Danny Vetrano, married 10 years to Cheryl Vetrano and father of Dalton Alfordish and David Hartman, and great-grandfather to Eli Hartman, retired from the Kenner Fire Department on November 22nd, 2020, after 40 years. Whereas on December 2nd, 1980, Danny was hired to the Kenner Fire Department. He was promoted to driver on March 1st, 1983, captain on January 1st, 1991, district chief on June 22nd, 2007, and assistant chief on July 1st, 2012. Whereas Danny retired on November 22nd, 2020, after 40 years with the Kenner Fire Department. He will be spending his retirement enjoying his time with his family. Now, therefore, I, Ben Zahn, by the authority vested in me as the mayor of the city of Kenner, with the Kenner City Council, our chief of police, and our fire chief, do hereby recognize Danny Vetrano for his years of service to the Kenner Fire Department. I'm going to let Danny say a few words, but we wanted to wait. I know it's past November of 2020, but we all know what was going on last year and why we couldn't do anything until this year because of COVID. We have a few of these to do, but Danny, I want to tell you, we appreciate it from the administration side. Obviously, you see your council here. They appreciate it. Our fire chief, our police chief, everybody appreciates, along with the administration, your service. So if you want to say a few words.
Members of the council, mayor, members of the administration, I really appreciate the recognition. And to those that I worked with over the 40 years, the men and women, I really appreciate your dedication, your loyalty, and your friendship. It's made my journey a good one in the end, and I wish you the best of luck on your journey. And as always, safety first.
Danny, it's your proclamation, also a lapel pin from the city of Kenner, Kenner Proud. Because we're a little displaced because we're not in the council chambers, I'm going to ask you just to hang out a little bit. We're going to do 2 more, and then we're going to take pictures individually. Next person is Stanford Genovese. All right. Stanford Genovese, married 23 years to Mrs. Amaris, is that right, Amaris? Amaris Genovese, and father to Alexis and Gabriella. Retired from the Kenner Fire Department on April 12, 2021, after 33 years. Whereas on February 18, 1988, Stanford Genovese was hired to the Kenner Fire Department. He was promoted to driver on April 14, 1992, captain on March 10, 2006, district chief on May 3, 2014, and then assistant chief on August 30, 2018. Stanford retired on April 12, 2021, after 33 years with the Kenner Fire Department. He will be spending his retirement enjoying his carpentry and his ministry. Now, therefore, I, Ben Zahn, by the authority vested in me as the mayor of the city of Kenner and the Kenner City Council, our chief of police, and our fire chief, do hereby recognize Stanford Genovese for his years of service to the Kenner Fire Department. Stanford, would you like to say a few words?
I'd also like to thank the citizens of Kenner for providing me with a good job, and through all the different ups and downs and administrations, I wound up with a good job, and I'm blessed on account of it. And I'd like to thank all the men that worked with me over the years. They're a real blessing to me, and I have nothing but love for them. And I appreciate our union, and I know we had our differences at times, but in the end, all kind of good came from it. And I think the city's a better place because I think everybody was trying to do the right thing and get to the right place, and I've been blessed on account of it. And I'd like to thank the good Lord Jesus Christ because he woke me this morning and he keeps me. Thank you all. Thank you, Fire Chief.
So we're on time for Stanford since it was just April, so I'm glad we're not too far behind. I'm going to ask Mr. Donald Robertson and his wife and his family to step up to the podium. Whereas Donald Robertson is married to his lovely wife, Angie Edwards Robertson. They have 4 children and 7 grandchildren. Whereas Donald was born and raised in Kenner. He graduated from Bonneville High School and attended Southern University, New Orleans. He served his country for 2 years as a Marine in the United States military. After his service, he was employed by the Jefferson Parish Sewage Department. In 1977, he became an employee of the City of Kenner Sewage Department. Donald is also a former member of the Over the Hill Gang softball team here in the City of Kenner. Whereas after 43 years with the city, he will spend his retirement and the rest with relaxation by traveling, fishing, keeping up with the Saints, and tackling his honey-do list. I like that. He is leaving knowing that he can pass the torch on to the younger generation. Now, therefore, I, Ben Zahn, by the authority vested in me as the mayor of the City of Kenner and the Kenner City Council, our chief of police, do hereby recognize Donald Robertson for his service as a dedicated employee to the City of Kenner Sewage Department for the past 43 years. I want to say thank you. I know you've seen a lot of changes with the Sewage Department over the years and most recently, but to have somebody for 43 years with us says a lot about your commitment to the City of Kenner, to our constituents, to our residents, to this Kenner City Council. You've probably seen a lot of councils, a lot of mayors, and a lot of chiefs come in and out of here. But this mayor, this council, this chief of police say thank you. We appreciate it. We have your proclamation. Your proclamation. He says we've said it all for him, so if any of the council would like to say anything to Mr. Robertson, of course, our 2 firefighters that we have, y'all welcome to step up to the podium and say a few words. If not, Councilman Carroll's going to start it, and then we're going to do pictures, I guess, maybe right up in that area with the 2 flags behind us. Councilman Carroll.
Thank you, Mayor Zahn, and good morning to everyone. And I literally was in the parking lot talking to Tiny, trying to tell her what was going on today. So that's why I was a little late. But obviously, congratulations to everyone that's retiring, particularly my good friend, Donald Duck Robinson, who I've been knowing for a very, very long time, him and his wife and his family, all of his children, particularly his daughter, who was real close to me, who are no longer with us, but with God, but she's always in our prayers. And Duck has always been a good friend of mine, great employee, along with fellow employees, Jesse Bird, a number of people that worked for the city of Kenner who literally knew the city of Kenner from the drainage perspective back and front. Without any maps, without any of that institutional knowledge that they had was so instrumental to the city of Kenner. And it is something that we can never replace. It doesn't matter how many reports we get, how many books we get, how many diagrams we get. The individual, the men and the women that put the boots on the ground has that, and it can't be replaced. So, Donald, thank you very much for all of your support, not only to the city of Kenner, your employer, but to our community, that we know we can look towards you to get information, to get answers, to get information that sometimes we didn't agree with, but obviously information that we knew if you told us that it was true, and we just had to find a way to make it better, find a way to make it work, and find a way to understand what we have to do to ensure that it doesn't happen anymore in the future. So thank you very much. Thank you for your family, for giving us the opportunity, man. Love you.
I just wanted to thank you guys for your service, and I know that you are leaving the city better than when you got here. So it's important for that to happen. And thank you. Enjoy your retirement. I guess my retirement window is about this big right now. So.
Yes, thank you to our firefighters. Y'all started in the same era I guess I started, so we've been here a long time. Thank you. Mr. Thomas over there, thank you for your service to the city Without you, a lot of people would be very unhappy. So we know that you do a good job when you were with the sewer department, and they were happy for that. So again, thank all of y'all for your service to our city.
Yes, I just want to say thank you again, repeat the accolades. Congratulations. Thank you for all of your hard work, all of your hard dedication throughout the years. I think the city is a better place because of all of your, all of your hard work and all of your leadership. I wish you well, and I hope that you pass along all of your knowledge so the next people are going to be able to be just as successful. So thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah, and I too wanted to thank y'all, all three of y'all. Excellent. Put your years of service in, and it's like the firefighters, y'all keep us safe. And actually, the city is a much better place having all the firefighters, of course, and we're class 1 now. Thank you all for that. And also, Mr. Donald, 43 years of service. How wonderful. And abominable Bruin at that. So go Bruins. Thank y'all.
Like everybody else, again, thank you all for almost a lifetime of service to the good citizens of Kenner. I think we're going to take a picture right over here. Brian, would you like to say something? Thank you.
your blessing upon your sons and daughters gathered here today. May you give them peace and joy and happiness all the days of their lives. We ask that you give them strength and courage as they serve your people here in Kenner, and may you bless our city. And we ask all this through Christ our Lord. Amen. God bless you all.
Thank you, Father. Councilman Wilmot, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilman.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum. In accordance with Council Resolution Number B14.
Madam Clerk, we have some recognitions for some of our family and friends. I apologize for that.
Oh, it's okay. Go ahead.
Yes.
Sorry.
Councilman Segura, you're first, sir.
Thank you. As I appreciate from my memory, our last meeting was when we learned of the passing of a former mayor for the city of Kenner, former councilman, mayor, and parish councilman, Louis Congemi. So I wanted to take this moment to certainly publicly let everyone know that we kept him in all of our prayers. There was a huge turnout at his services. Thank the city administration, the police department, fire department, and all the city workers who showed out along the procession route to explain or show that the city of Kenner did cherish his time here and will miss him. So with that, I want to continue our prayers for the family. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Mayor Zahn, do you have any?
Yeah, I want to echo those words from Councilman Segura. Look, Louis was a good friend, a mentor to a lot of us, been around for a long time. Oddly enough, Louis and I both have shared two of the same seats, so makes it a little bit more special to have shared the parish council seat and also the mayor's seat on two things that he did. But I also want to thank, like Mike said, the city workers. Deborah Foshi, along with Nicole Ban, made those phone calls to make sure that they were going to show some respect. It was overwhelming. We didn't think they would show that much crowd out there. I mean, it was my duty to make sure that the fire trucks were out there and also the bucket trucks with the flags, and of course our chief of police's duty to make sure that the police department was there. The police department did an excellent job, along with the fire department, along with the city workers, but thanking Nicole and Deborah for actually putting that together, and those city workers showing up at amounts of people I didn't think that you would show up. That just goes to show what kind of person Louis was. So I'm glad you brought that up, Councilman.
Thank you, Mayor. Any council people would like to have any comments either on their own or on Mayor Congemi? I do not see any. So, Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir. In accordance with Council Resolution Number B14550, please be advised that all cellular telephones and other devices of this nature must be deactivated or silenced throughout the council meeting. Do we have any resolutions, motions, or other items from the floor this morning? Seeing none, under the consent agenda, we have item 1, approval of minutes, the regular council meeting of May 6, 2021. Item 2 is approval of alcoholic beverage permit applications. We have none. Item 3 is approval of bingo and public gathering applications. Item 3A is application number 2234-21, North American Midway Entertainment Amusements South LLC, to hold a public gathering on May 21st, 2021 through May 31st, 2021, on weekdays from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. and on weekends from 1 p.m. to 11 p.m. for the purpose of a carnival at the Esplanade, 1401 West Esplanade Avenue in Kenner, Louisiana. Item 4 is correspondence, reports from the mayor, CAO, and department heads. Item 4A, at the request of the administration, a report from Mayor Zahn.
Mayor Zahn, you have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Council Chairman. A few quick comments, and then we got to have a little bit of a presentation on a recent issue that popped up. But let me just start with this. With the help of Councilman Hayes' office, we did two code sweep this past week, last 2 weeks, May 13th and May 19th. On May 13th, we went into the 35 to 3600 blocks of Martinique, which has continued to be an issue, but good news, and the councilman knows this, only 12 violations and 12 warning violations. So I'm appreciative of the work that our Kenner Code is doing out there along with your office, Councilman. Also, 1,600 block to 1,700 blocks of Newport Place, 15 total violations, 14 warning violations. In an earlier discussion this week with Councilman Hayes, and I got to agree with him, I think Newport Place is becoming more of an issue for us than what Martinique was in the past. So that's something that myself and the councilman are keeping an eye on, and I'm agree with you, Councilman Hayes, that's totally correct. I see it a lot, Newport Place, and I do see the issues there. Good news again, sales tax up 35% within the last 2 months. That's $941,000 over this time last year. So coming out of COVID, where I've been, and we talked about this at the budget hearings, where I was very, very, very concerned with the restrictions being lifted, we see a little bit of a difference. And talking about restrictions being lifted, I think most of the public knows this. I think you all know this, and obviously we're not wearing them. Masks have been lifted on city buildings. Now, if an individual, a worker, or an individual entering the building still wants to wear it, perfectly fine. They still want to social distance, perfectly fine. We do encourage social distancing still, even though it's not asked. We do encourage it as much as possible. I think we're all in that new mindset that we will continue to do that somewhat. Memorial Day. We will be having Memorial Day festivities next Thursday at the Kenner Pavilion, right there in Kenner City Park, May 27th at 10:30. We have a speaker from World War II who happens to be a former neighbor of my parents and also of mine when I lived in Metairie in my childhood, who's coming out, and he is still ready to go, ready to talk about his experiences from World War II, which we don't have a lot of those. So if you can make it, please come out there and attend that. I want to touch on a little bit, and we're going to have, I think, Deborah, 3 different speakers on this, because this is something that popped up yesterday, not on a Kenner page on Facebook, but on one of our associate pages that we're friendly with, Kenner Happenings page. It showed the water coming into a fire station, which we're going to go into detail later, but that was not a video from yesterday. That was a video from 3 months ago. So that's not current information, and that sometimes gets a little bit, well, not sometimes, that is very dangerous to put out that information when it's false. So all of our buildings have maintenance issues. This is an administration, which is no secret to you all. Sometimes I've been criticized, that we see the problem with buildings. We see that the buildings have issues. We know this administration has taken that on, that there are building issues. We've been talking about this for quite some time, that we need to address some of the building problems. As you know, we're sitting here today because we have a problem in that building where the council chambers is. We are testing all the buildings. We have been doing that for quite some time, getting the buildings tested. Today, I have redirected the testing to test fire stations today, starting today. We had already tested some, but we're testing the fire stations starting today and also Monday because it is popping up, because we want to make sure that the public knows the truth, not some misinformation that's out there that's being spread. We posted, and I usually don't post, and I do not belong to Kenner Happenings. I don't belong to a lot of those pages, but I asked my assistant to post because she is, I don't know if you call it a member or whatever, she posted on that page for informational purposes only, to get to the public and get to the Kenner Fire Department to make sure they have the actual facts. Because I'm gonna leave y'all with this unless it comes back up again. The actual facts are extremely important, and each and every one of you all should be ticked. I mean, that's a nice way of saying it. You should be ticked at the individual that put it on there, because just if it was true and that gets motivated and people start looking at that, and if we would have fire department personnel, firefighters that got scared because of a false statement, a false video out there, our real constituents could be at risk. We want to make sure that the Kenner Fire Department is fully staffed every day, and rightfully so. Some firefighters might have said, if we didn't post it, myself and the chief, saying that this is nothing more than a lie. If I didn't post that along with the chief on that page, we could have had our real constituents at risk by firefighters believing the lies. So I'm going to leave it with that the lies have been addressed. There are some things that we need to do. I will do that starting today. You all are entitled to know that. The public's entitled to know that. And I believe we're going to start with Chad Pitfield. We're going to start with Mark with General Services, who works under Chad Pitfield. I know the fire chief has some things to say. And then also Adam, who's working very closely with our environmental company, ELOS, that is addressing the buildings today, that have been addressing numerous buildings throughout the city of Kenner. We're going to go with Mark first, then we go into the fire chief, and then we go into Adam. If y'all have questions, now's the time to ask it after the presentation's over, if you don't mind.
Mayor Zahn and Director, I have just one comment to make as it relates to the first part of the statement that Mayor Zahn gave relating to the COVID, not only for the city of Kenner, Jefferson Parish, and the country. I'd like to personally thank the fire department for their support from 36 all the way to the lake in offering the opportunity for many of the Kenner constituents. I know within District 1, we had about 30 people that signed up through the administration, through the firefighters, through the fire administration to get their COVID tests. It is a testament to why I believe we as a city has done so well in trying to control this pandemic. So with the help of Chief Morris, all of his administrators, all of the firemen that supported that, thank you guys a lot for that, because that was real instrumental in, one, showing the confidence as a city that we had, and two, actually giving people, particularly in Station 36, who have challenges sometimes to get to the different medical centers to get their vaccine, an opportunity to get a ride to 36. Because if you live in South Kenner, you know someone, you will always get a ride to Station 36. It's just part of who we are. So thank you guys for that support, and we look forward to your support again in the future. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Zahn. Thank you, Chief. Director.
All right, so back in February, on February 2nd, we received an email from Fire Headquarters with some concerns about the Fire Station 39 leak. As soon as we received it, I deployed my superintendent out to go investigate the situation. And that same week, we did some repairs to the roof. It was a roof jack in the attic that was leaking. We saw the water protruding from it, and we addressed it and patched it with some roofing products, some tape around the jack itself, and we also replaced some shingles on the roof as well. And I really haven't heard anything since then, if there was any more issues regarding this. Yes.
Thank you, Director.
I just have one question. Where is Fire Station 39?
That's on Vintage by Loyola.
Okay, thank you.
Any more questions for Director? Thank you, Director.
All right.
Mayor Zahn, who's next?
Our fire chief.
Chief.
And then Adam Campo will just speak right from there.
Good morning, Council.
Good morning.
I was notified of the post yesterday afternoon. I'm not a member of social media. I don't have any accounts or anything like that, so the information I get is usually sent to me through some friend, family, or this administration through text. I've been a chief here in Kenner for a little over 2 years. Some of these issues that's here, I found here. But 3 things that I ask of my administration every morning that every chief in America usually wants to know: how many people we have on duty today, how many fire trucks we have, and how many spares that we have in case one of our fire trucks go down, and what problems occurred overnight, on the weekend, or whatever. Our guys put in a report every day of maintenance issues where these things, like these water leaks, come up. I was sent a video by one of my district chiefs on the 5th of February of this year, the first time I saw that particular video that came out. That's how old that video is, to my knowledge. It's older than that from talking to the chief. But I was first notified of it on February 5th. On February 5th, we sent the email to General Services, and they went out February 5th to repair that issue. Like I said, we have old infrastructure in the city.
We have leaks these last few days with heavy rain. I found leaks in my house that I'm gonna have to address in the next week or so. But those things, as they come up on that sheet, on our maintenance report, whether it's the stations, the apparatus, the equipment, whatever, our administration address each one of those issues and forward to correct those issues. So those things that are being said that this has been going on forever, that leak is no longer there. It wasn't there yesterday, it wasn't there all week throughout the rain. Now, we may have some other leaks that have shown up throughout that period of time, but that leak was taken care of when we first notified it, was notified of that on February 5th. There were some other issues that was mentioned about plumbing issues. Toilet's not flushing. Toilet's standing water. I don't have any report. I have one. The report I have was February of 2020. We sent it to General Services. General Services sent out Acadian Plumbing. They ran a camera through the drain system to determine that it's a problem with the structural system of the drainage itself. We replaced the toilets in there to address those problems. So every issue that's brought up before us from maintenance of the department and keeping the department running is sent forward in process. Nobody none of these issues are not being addressed. And rest assured of that. And some of these issues, some of them are priority, some of them are not. Like, we have some issues with doors sticking, locks sticking. Well, that's not a priority right now, especially during this last year because of our budget constraints. So those types of issues are, minor issues that we could take care of at another date. But the issues of leaks and stuff like that are immediately addressed. Any safety issues concerning the apparatus are immediately addressed. So there's no issues with those things. And as I told during the budget hearing, Councilman Segura, when you asked me about the ceiling in the thing, I told you I had other leaks and stuff that I needed to address, prioritize them with the funds that we have and get those things taken care of. And that's the order that we process this in, and those are the things that we will always process these things in. This administration, you as a council, and this administration, anything that I've asked for, I've generally gotten. Y'all went over and above to make those things happen. So anything that's brought to our attention as administration, we do address it. And the letter that, as I read it, and when I received it, I was offended by the comments that were made by this individual about what he said, ineptness. I mean, get the whole facts and understand what's going on within the administration. We are addressing all these issues within the fire department.
Chief, I have a question first. I would like to get from you and from all of the captains or from each fire station to comprise a list from a logistical standpoint, structural standpoint, some of the issues that exist at all of them, not some of them, all of them. And this is not so much for equipment, but this will focus hopefully just on the buildings themselves. And then the equipment part can come after. But to be able to prioritize, if we can get that list, is that something you can have for the next meeting, you think?
Councilman, I have that right now.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, because I just asked my administration to list each and every problem, put it out to the guys in the field, give us a list of every issue that we have at every station so I can present it to this administration and to you guys so we can get those issues addressed. So if you like that list,
yeah. If you are comfortable giving that to us now, you don't have any more work to do with it, yes. And if it does compose of every fire station, yes.
Every fire station,
every
issue.
Will you give that to the Madam Clerk and let them be able to make copies for all of us, if you don't mind? If you only have one copy, I would prefer them to get the copies, make copies for all of us.
Okay. Can I get that done to you this afternoon?
That would be fine. Madam Clerk, will you ladies please coordinate that with Chief Morris? Thank you. They will, Chief. Thank you. Councilman Segura.
Thank you, Council President. Chief, in seeing that same posting that it's the topic of discussion right now, it certainly does initially rise to a concern as to the shape of our stations, the safety and welfare
Right.
of our fire personnel that stay in there, even though they stay 24, go off for 3 days, come back. So, but still, the fact that they are there.
Right.
With this leak, that as I saw it, and you just affirmed that it was fixed as soon as you were made aware of it. That's correct, right?
That's correct.
So, other than that leak, which was for appearance sake terrible, obviously, and then there are going to be the small drip leaks that obviously you would attend to at the same diligence to get them fixed right away. To your knowledge, was this leak or for any others a concern for you and the safety of our personnel in that building at the time that this occurred?
Well, when it occurred, not so much, not in the sense that it was extensive leak, a sizable leak, some extensive issue within the roof and structure of the building was my main concern. But as far as the men themselves and safety issue, I don't want to be misunderstood by saying I wasn't concerned, because I am truly concerned about each and every one of my firemen. But I wasn't concerned about the building coming down on, if
Sure.
that's what you're asking.
And let me make your concern would have been, yes, I'm aware of this leak, I'm aware of what happened, I got it fixed right away. Any other factors that would have came from that you were looking into and addressing afterwards? I mean, I guess
Yes,
the building
we,
did not come down.
No, actually, we looked at, we got some quotes to replace the roof on the building after that, and as you know, I'm a licensed contractor, so I've been doing that a long time. The prices I've gotten to replace that roof was totally ridiculous. I wouldn't dare spend the city's money, that much money on replacing those. I could build a building for some of the prices we got on those.
Sure.
So we're looking at addressing those, replacing the roof, because the roof probably need a total replacement because of the amount of leaks that we have in there. But we're trying to get quotes on that, and the funding, of course, to get that done.
Okay, and I think the mayor's going to have Mr. Adam come up and after you, and I suspect that that's going to be given information on testing
Right.
of the facility for what is proposed in these postings as unsafe
Right.
mold conditions.
We did the testing at 35. We had, when the court building B was tested, we also had the stations tested, and I'm not in charge of the testing. Another department is, but we met over and we got the report on that there was one spot that wasn't an issue, that they changed the tile, and I think at Station 35, the one right here on Williams, about a year ago or so, the guys said they had got a report of possible asbestos in one of the stations. I met the company out there, ELO's out there, and we tested for asbestos. Station 37, they had a mold issue. I met them out there, and they did a test for mold there. We're retesting that again. So every time the issue comes up or is brought to my attention, we address them and make certain that there's no safety issues for any one of our members.
Yes, I appreciate that because I'm familiar with testing of the fire stations for mold, and that there are various types of mold.
Right.
But mold is practically everywhere from my general
Yeah.
understanding. So it's what level or
Right.
whatever they refer to it as, this level and above is where the safety hazard comes in. So you can be below that and have
Yeah.
mold, so the statement, there's mold, is not to be a safety issue.
Right.
Okay, and I'm sure Mr. Adam will get more into that when he talks about the testing.
Right.
All right, thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Councilman Segura. Any more comments from the council or questions for Chief? I don't see any. Thank you, Chief.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Campo, please. And just a point of order to everyone. At our budget hearing, we put in a little system to help support mostly me, and it's relating to my inability to recognize the council members in the order that they ask questions. So I'm going to ask the clerks again to recognize the council and then call them as they, in the order. Thank you very much.
Council Chairman,
Mayor Zahn.
can I add something before Mr. Campo speaks? I want y'all to keep in mind, too, as you hear that the repairs need to be done at other buildings, also fire stations. You know, when I came in discussions with then Acting Mayor Mike Segure, we had talked about the lack of maintenance on buildings. So with him and I discussing a few things and discussing my administration, we discussed that because of maintenance not being done, something needed to be created. You remember, for everybody that was basically, but you were here and Councilman Wilmot and Councilman Segure were here, we created the General Services Department. The General Services Department was something that the City of Canton never had before. He had seen the need for it. I'm sure there was a need before, but in discussions with him, us coming in, and he said, look, we're not getting these things done. Myself and Deborah having the experience from the parish where we actually have a General Services Department, or they have a General Services Department in the parish, I'm like, I got the perfect solution. So remember that. This is not the fault of this administration or the men and women that work here in the fire department, the police department, civil service. It's the lack of maintenance that wasn't done. So I'll just leave you with the General Services Department, not taking up for them, not defending them, but I'm going to defend them. They are trying to catch up. They are trying to catch up and be where we need to be. So that's why you see this major thing going on throughout all the buildings in the city of Canton. Brian, I'm sorry, I know we have this post. I got to lean back to see you, but to keep that in mind as we're doing that. Adam.
Yeah. Thank you, Mayor Zahn, and that's correct. Listen, I have had the privilege of being on the council longer than anyone up here, so I understand that for 3 administrations prior to yours, there were things that were not completed, were not done, and it is passed on to the next administration. And even after your administration leaves, there are going to be other things that are going to have to be addressed by the next one. So never should we assume that when a new administration come in, that it just happened. And I think all of us understand that, and most people understand that as well. So we look forward to hopefully addressing it like it's brand new and try to repair what we can repair. Mr. Campo.
My name is Adam Campo. I'm the Chief Compliance Officer for the city. As Chief Morris said, about a year ago, we instituted a plan to begin testing all of the city facilities, all of the city buildings for mold and other hazards like asbestos with ELOS Environmental. We've abated from that plan or varied from that plan on occasion when we have a massive roof leak or when somebody says, I think there's mold in this building, or when we view visible mold several times. As of today, we've varied on that plan as well. ELOS is actually inspecting all 4 of the remaining fire stations for mold between today and early next week. We'll probably get the reporting for that sometime next week as well. To Councilman Segure's points, he's absolutely correct in testing for mold. There has to be 2 conditions met for it to be considered toxic mold. One is the levels, and the other is actually the type of mold. There can be all types of mold in buildings. Very few of them are actually toxic to human beings. And so those are the kind of things that we look for. If you have any questions for me.
No, Mr. Campo, I think you're good. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Mayor Zahn, any closing comments?
That completes the presentation. Thank
Okay.
God. Huh?
And before we move on, I'd just like to just comment on one thing that Chief Morris says as it relates to the cost of repairing something now. He is a licensed contractor. All of us are going to have issues with trying to get our homes filled. And if you have taken a walk into Home Depot or Lowe's, the prices for materials are outrageous. It is just ungodly that what has happened to this. And I say that in reference to the people who live in the city of Kenner and Jefferson Parish. I hope our code department is in unit with that to understand things have gone up so much, to be considerate when we ask our constituents to be able to repair stuff. Just like we understand with the city, hopefully that is transferred to the citizens as, hey, I get it, you're going to need a little bit more time to get this done. So I'm glad you brought that up, and it was a good segue for me to mention it about our constituents. Thank you.
Yeah, just following up on the mayor and you, Greg, about from administration to administration, there's always going to be carryovers. And so when I came in as acting mayor and was meeting with the directors and hearing things, we had, as the mayor said, we did not have general services. We had a small component in every public works, recreation, where various departments had a small component of tending to maintenance issues. But as I was certainly hearing that, one of the things that came more important for me to address was the fact that we only had one person doing our emergency management research, looking out for the city. So that's why during my tenure I created the Emergency Management Department, which then allowed us to get many grants, and I'm sure the administration can verify that, because as a person working in an emergency management area, but just being a person, we could not get those grants. Once we created our whole department, we could, and that's taken off from there, and you know how well our emergency management department keeps us up to date today on things that are occurring, weather and whatever events. But be that said, as the mayor said, right, he took it afterwards and created the emergency general services department and put all of these little components together into one department to address these issues. Now you're going to see a lot of problems that need to be addressed. And we all know that we just don't have that pot of gold to fix them. So as long as we are addressing them, the administration and us, to make sure that there's no health and safety concerns for all of our employees that work in our buildings, I'm thankful for the administration to address that. And I believe and feel in good faith that everyone up here understands, as soon as something that is brought to the attention of either one of us individually or the administration that does concern a safety issue, it gets relayed and work gets addressed, because we all take the safety of our employees as utmost and want to make sure that we don't have any issues. So I thank everybody up here, because I know from time to time you have probably heard of something and passed it off to the administration, and then they have done their due diligence and fixed it. So the message that what we're dealing with here didn't come through that fashion. It didn't come in an official complaint to either one of us or the administration. It popped up on our devices here to read. So with that, long as we keep up this good work of maintaining what we can do, and as the chief said, yeah, I don't expect him to replace a door frame that don't close, because right now with all of this moisture in the air from the last couple of weeks of rain, I got doors that don't close in my house, but I know once we get into the summer, they're going to dry out and they'll work better. So you got to prioritize. So I thank y'all for prioritizing what we've talked about is for health and safety. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
Just,
Mayor Zahn would like to speak.
I don't know if I said, but you all have a copy in front of you about the response, that we put on Kenna Happens. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Zahn. Madam Clerk.
Councilman Brannigan.
Oh, yeah. On the mold issues that we have, we live in southern Louisiana, and with the amount of rain that we've been having, you're never going to get rid of all the mold. Everyone sitting in this room, whether you like it or not, you have mold in your house. There's no doubt.
That's it.
Madam Clerk.
Wait, Councilman.
You would like to speak, sir? Yes, sir. Name and address, please.
Operator Edelman from Kenner Fire Department. I'm actually a Orleans Parish resident. First, thank you for giving me this chance to speak. And I apologize for whatever video made it to, I'm the president of Local 1427 here in Kenner. But I haven't seen the video that made it to Facebook or YouTube or whatever it is. I'm not a social media guy, 47 years old. Don't do it. But I can confirm that there was quite an impressive Niagara Falls at Station 39 at one point. I understand that they went out and repaired it, worked on it, but it's not nearly what it was, but it still does leak. It leaks into the walls, through the vents. And Captain Ralph Michelle could actually speak on my behalf, because he's a captain at 39. I'm kind of at the rescue squad and bounce around wherever they need a captain. But Captain Michelle could come up here and tell them exactly what the the current state of the water leak is. It's nowhere near what it was because it was worked on. But one thing we haven't seen done since Hurricane Katrina was they never did open up that station and do a mold test or an air quality test, I believe. And we also have Captain DuPont that is permanently assigned to Station 37 where there's some leaks in the past, and he could give you the current state of those leaks because I'm never at those two stations.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for hearing me. But this is Captain Michelle from Station 39.
Captain, give your name and address, please, sir.
What was that?
Your name and address.
Ralph Michelle, 641 Deciduous Loop, Madisonville, Louisiana, Captain at Station 39.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can just say what he says, that it still leaks. It's been repaired, but it's not been fixed. So, I mean, I've been at the station probably 2 years, and I think it was my video actually that I sent to Iggy or Chief Rosales on the 5th. That is a video of it leaking. So now instead of it leaking into to the main radio room, it leaks into the outside bathroom, inside closet, and now into the dorm where we have our books and stuff like that, our file cabinet room. So, I mean, it is what it is. I mean.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
What station is that?
That's the one that's in question yesterday, Station 39. It's at 401 Vintage.
Thank you. Name and address, sir.
Brian DuPont, 4916 Trenton Street in Metairie.
Thank you.
I've been a captain for 9 years, been on the fire department 25 years. I've been stationed at 37 for 15 years. As long as I've been there, the roof has leaked. Whenever it rains hard. I mean, and the city does come out every time, and they put a Band-Aid on it, basically, but it really does need to be replaced completely. It leaks into the sleeping quarters at the station. Just recently, with this bad rain, it has leaked. The guys have to go move all their gear, and if not, all that stuff gets wet on a regular basis. Some other problems with the station, we do have issues with the bathrooms upstairs. Unfortunately, the bathrooms are right above the kitchen, so when they leak, they come right in the kitchen. So that's not very sanitary, but other than that.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for your comments.
Okay.
Name and address, sir.
Mickey Giruso, 123 Oak Lawn Ridge, St. Rose, Louisiana. I'm a district chief with the Kenner Fire Department and past president of Local 1427. Station 39's roof does need to be replaced, and it needed to be replaced way back when I was back there. That roof has been leaking since before Katrina. And they send people out there and they do patchwork. And I don't know if they can't afford the money to fix it, but it's been needing replacing for a long time. That station flooded for Hurricane Katrina. They never did go in there and cut the sheetrock out. I know of 3 different occasions when they opened the wall up, they renovated the kitchen. When they opened the wall, full of mold. They installed washer and dryer in one of the rooms back there. They opened the wall, full of mold. They repaired a soft spot next to a window in the front. When they opened the wall, full of mold. So I would have to say that inside the walls of that station is full of mold. If you go in and rub the wall, no, you're not going to see the mold, but inside the wall, full of mold. Station still leaks. I don't cover the north side anymore, I cover the south side. 37 is in bad shape. Most of them are. And I think probably one of the biggest problems the fire department has is we're running on 7 mills. And 7 mills.
Mr. Russo, let's just stick on the roof. Let's just stick on the roof and the repairs. We can talk about that at the end, but let's just stay on focus of the roof.
So it's all the stations. It's not just 1 or 2. It's all of them. There's problems.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Chief.
Yeah, I'm here again. Still here. Like I said, guys, I received those maintenance reports. The assistant chiefs send them to me every day. How many people we have on duty, how many trucks we have up and running, how many spares we have, what maintenance issues we have. On my report, I do not have all those various leaks. Like I said, the last leak I have was the big one from February. So if I don't get the report, get it on the maintenance report, or I should say the Chief Administration Bergeron gets it and says, hey, this is going on, we can't address those issues, right? We have to get that report. We're making an attempt to get the roof replaced because apparently, and Captain DuPont, you've been there for a while. Y'all been having problems with this roof leak for how many years? 15 years this roof been leaking? Right. So in the last 2 years, we've done a lot, and this administration has done a lot to get these things replaced. But if we don't know about them, all these things, they don't come up on this report, then we can't address those issues. And that's what we're saying. You know, you're saying these things are going on, it's leaking down the wall. I don't have the report here that says it's leaking down the wall anyway. So I don't know it because I'm not there. You guys are there. And I'm not at, you know, we have 6 stations. So you guys need to report when these issues occur at these stations so we can get them addressed. And trust me, I'm one of you guys. I've been a fire, right? So I don't want y'all living in those conditions. This administration don't want you living in those conditions. So put them on the report, we can address them and get those things taken care of. All right?
So, Chief, and you know, in the beginning when you and I were talking about the report, that is one of the reasons, because never knowing when the report was done, not knowing if it was cumulative of all of the firemen. So before you give it to the Madam Clerk, if you can take it back.
Right.
Not only include Station 39, I believe, but reach out to everybody again to be able to mention things that may not have made the report for everyone to get a look. If you can do that, then I think that is better. We're serving a better purpose. There's no need to rush the report if it doesn't include everything. So if you can do that, it doesn't have to be the next meeting. It could be the meeting after that. But I think it's important to all of us and to the administration to get a feel for everything that is known today on the report. So I would appreciate that.
Mr. Chairman, the mayor would like to speak.
Thank you. Is that, Chief, are you, so?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. And actually, like I said, what I do, because we asked each one of the captains at the station, like I said, we're not in the various locations every day. So when those issues arrive, to attach those to the report so we can see what the issues are at the different locations and address them in that manner. And Chief Bergeron is the one who actually sees that report and asked him to give us that list, and we hadn't seen anything on it.
Gotcha. And I'm not here,
Right.
I'm not accusing anybody. I'm just saying,
It's just-
we know sometimes getting information is sometimes challenging. So we're going to go back again, ask again, and then have an opportunity to address it from, and then that still won't do it. There will be something else, I promise you, but at least we have at least 80, 90% of it as we move forward. Thank you,
Yes, sir.
Chief.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Mayor Zahn.
And I want to thank the firemen that came up and added to the report, because the report you were about to get this afternoon probably wouldn't have included all those things. And y'all, they proved our point for us, so thank you. You see how it happens, more things continue to happen. Again, this administration has been the one tackling the maintenance on this. We've taken on the unpopular thing of saying the buildings need repair. Oh yeah, you just want to build this, you want to build, no. We want to repair the buildings. And the reports, Councilman Carroll, I can't agree with you more. The proper way of reporting is through reports, not through Facebook.
Yes, sir.
Councilman Segura would like to speak.
Well, yeah, real quick, just, again, what the mayor also said too. I'm pleased that you firefighters, captains come up here and added to this ongoing issue for our information. Because if you're not forwarding that to your administration to then send it to the mayor's administration, there is a gap on getting things done. We can address things as quick as we can when we know it, and certainly on the more serious ones, we'll do what we can to do it more efficiently and faster. But I know this is a little, you have that plan. I want to see that plan work where each station sends it to your administration and then it gets passed off. But guys, we also have internally a network program called QSIN that you can put in any issue with a city building as a citizen, firefighter, whatever. And it now gets delivered to the proper entity and is tracked where the administration can see how long it's taken before that event has been repaired or resolved. So use what's in place first in your side of your administration, but as a backup, use our QSIN and put in that information so that we can ensure that we are aware of it to get it fixed quickly. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Segura. And if I could just comment on Councilman Segura's comments, and I would like to ask the chief and the firemen, yes, we do have this QSIN mechanism in place to report. I would ask that you guys, I would ask that the chief support me on, as a citizen, it is your right to report through that mechanism. As a firefighter, don't use that. Use the chief and his captains to report things. So if we can just, one, as a citizen, QSIN, great. But as a firefighter, please use that communication, because that is paramount to be able to do that. And I would ask for you guys' support on that. Any? Councilman Brennan?
Thank you. Chief, do we know a cost for that roof repair?
Yeah, Councilman Brennan, I'm sorry. The estimate that we got to replace that roof was about $120-something thousand for approximately 40 squares of roof.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. And how long ago did we receive that?
That was last March, April. Yeah, about a year ago.
Okay. Is it at all possible to get that revised, or to get an estimate now?
All right. Well, we're going to put out. We're going to request General Services do the estimates on that. Get the estimates for us again, because as I said, you know, that quote to repair approximately 40 squares of roofing is way. It's not even in the city the ballpark is in.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, and now it may be even higher with everything as it is.
Right.
So, okay. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Councilman Brennan. Mr. Al, name and address, sir.
Al Morella, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 49 years. Listening to this conversation, you know, people who certainly have the right to post information on the computer, but they don't have the right to post things on the computer that happened several months ago that was taken care of. These issues that are being brought up by our firemen, there's no doubt in my mind we have issues with Fire Station 39. That's right around the corner from me. There's no doubt in my mind we do. But if these people, whoever they are, want to post anything, they should be posting the true issues that's going on with that fire station, not something that happened several months ago. But unfortunately, you see, this is why I don't have none of that garbage. And that's what I call it, garbage. This high-tech world we live in today, the thing today is editing emails, doctoring photographs, putting them on the computer. This sort of reminds me, back in 1954, of Eugene McCarthy. McCarthyism at its finest. So all I say is, anybody that does this kind of stuff, it's a cowardly act, and it's disgraceful. If they care about their community, if they care about their fire department, you know some things that's going on, come down here. Look these people in the face and let them know what the issues are. Don't hide behind that garbage and tell lies. First Amendment doesn't cover making up your own facts and doctoring the truth. First Amendment don't cover that. That's not in the First Amendment. That's all I have to say, and Chief, I hope they get these problems corrected at that fire station, and they get them corrected immediately. Anybody got any comments, any questions? Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Al. I would just like to comment, while I am a little bit more progressive than Mr. Al is about social media, I do agree that people are entitled to their opinion, but you're not entitled to your own facts. And as long as you can keep those two in order, I think we can do better. So thank you very much. Any more comments?
I believe there's someone from the audience.
Name and address, please, on the topic of the fire station.
Oh, it's not the topic of the fire station.
Well, yeah, we're on. Ms. Clark, we're talking about the fire station now. Not yet. Thank you. Thank you. Marizana, any closing? You're good? Okay. Madam Clerk.
Okay, so that will conclude the consent agenda. Mr. Chairman?
Thank you very much. Motion by Councilman Brennan, second by Councilmember Hayes to approve. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Segura?
Yay.
Councilman Hayes? Yay. Councilman Brannigan?
Yes.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilman McKinney?
Yes.
Councilman Wilmot?
Yay.
Councilman Carroll?
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Under the public appearance agenda, we have item 9, public hearings. We have none. Item 10 is opening of bids. We have none. Item 11 is reclassification of zoning for final passage. We have none. Item 12 is other ordinances for final passage. We have none. Item 13 is resolutions and motions by council members. Item 13A is a resolution selecting the New Orleans Advocate as the official journal for the City of Kenner for the fiscal year 2021-2022. Mr. Chairman, I've received a request for a one-meeting deferral at the request of the legal department.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
I'll motion that.
Motion by Councilman Segura on the deferral, second by Councilmember Wilmot. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Hayes?
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan?
Yes.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilman McKinney?
Yes.
Councilman Wilmot?
Yay.
Councilman Carroll?
Yay.
Councilman Segura?
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0 for a one-meeting deferral. Item 13B is a resolution temporarily suspending Council Rule Number 7 of the Rules of Organization, Business Order, and Procedure of the Council of the City of Kenner and rescheduling the Kenner City Council meeting of June 18, 2021 to June 25, 2021.
Motion by Councilmember Wilmot, second by Councilwoman McKinney. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Brannigan?
Yes.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilman McKinney?
Yes.
Councilman Wilmot?
Yay.
Councilman Carroll?
Yay.
Councilman Segura?
Yay.
Councilman Hayes?
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 13C is a resolution opposing Senate Bill 213 and House Bill 702 of the 2021 regular session of the Louisiana Legislature.
Motion by Councilmember Carroll, second by Councilmember Wilmot. Council members, please vote.
Wait, Greg.
Oh, Mr. Al. Mr. Al.
Al Morella, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 49 years. I support this resolution. I believe these two bills is not in the best interest of the city of Kenner. But I would like the council to explain why. I already know why, but I'd like to hear it from you guys. And one more thing, Councilman. I don't know if you could, I have a special mention. Also, that's not on the agenda, but I would like to give it. If not, I can wait to the end. But I got a lengthy agenda at the end. That's why, if it's okay with you guys, I'd like to do the special mention now.
Well, I understand, Mr. Al, but, trying to stay in order.
I got you.
If you can do that, then I would appreciate that.
That's fine. I'll try to squeeze it in. I think I can.
Thank you, sir.
Just figured I'd ask. Anybody got any comments, any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Wilmot?
Councilman Wilmot, you have the floor.
Thank you, and I appreciate Mr. Al coming up, and he asked to give further explanation, and I'll do so. I believe that we have opposition to these two pieces of legislation currently in Baton Rouge. One of them is being House Bill 702 and the other one being Senate Bill 213. Senate Bill 213 is kind of stagnant. It's not being moved. 702 is being moved. It's already been through the House and it heads to the Senate. It's getting ready to be heard in the Senate committee. First off, there's 7 persons on that committee. It's Jude B., and 3 of them are of the Jefferson Parish delegation. One of them is of the Orleans delegation. So I would like that we send this resolution, if it passes, that it go to at least these 4 persons. So we have 4 of the 7 persons that would get notice of this. The issue is, Mr. Al, there is talk of moving a riverboat license from Shreveport to St. Tammany Parish near Slidell. So that could have a negative impact on the city of Kenner. So therefore, we file this resolution on behalf of our citizens. I'll take any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Councilman Wilmot. And thank you for answering Mr. Al as it relates to that. And I would also like to give the mayor an opportunity to give an added perspective that he can congratulate our delegation in Baton Rouge and also add some information for the citizens that will give us the total picture of why we are doing this. Mayor Zahn.
Thank you, Council Chairman. So we did send a letter also besides this resolution, which Councilman Wilmot and I spoke about, and each and every one of you all, along with our chief of police, signed off on, very similar to this resolution. So I truly believe the letter, coupled with this resolution, will send a strong statement to the legislative body and also our Jefferson Parish delegation. You asked why is it important? That's why the public's asking it's important. Look, we don't ever want to get into a fight with our fellow cities or our fellow parishes, right? However, just like they're trying to do what's best for them, we want to preserve what we have and do what's best for us. So nothing against Slidell, nothing against the parish of St. Tammany. However, this is protecting us first. Our job is not to protect those cities. Our job is to work with them as much as we can, work with those other parishes. But when it comes down to who we're going to put first, obviously I agree with all of you all because you all signed the letter, but I agree with the author of this resolution, and thank you for adding my name and the chief of police's name to it, because we need to protect our Kenner residents first. Let's be honest. If we had an issue with the treasure chest, and if the treasure chest, I don't think it would happen, but if the treasure chest left or the treasure chest's income was hindered any kind of way, which is why we're doing this, that affects our capital improvements. Y'all know that. Y'all all get, except the at-larges, y'all all get money for your district funds. It affects that city coffers, but it also affects the Kenner Police Department. So we don't need, in the times that we have in right now, any kind of ripple. This would create possibly a ripple, which could become a tidal wave for the city of Kenner, and I don't think we need that right now. So let's, as I said, we always want to support other entities, but at this time, we got to put our Kenner residents first and put the welfare of the city of Kenner.
Thank you, Mayor Zahn. Councilman Segura.
Thank you. Councilman Wilmot, you asked if it was a question. I do have one for you. As a former legislator, is it permissible to not only send this resolution to not just the 2 committees in the House or Senate, but to every member of the House and Senate? Because hopefully, depending on how these bills come out of the committees and they go to the full House or Senate, we would like to also let them know our position on this. Is that something that can happen?
I think that would be a wonderful idea. It's just whether or not it's procedurally possible for the addresses and mailing and so forth. I think it's a great idea. I think we should do it. But specifically, House Bill 702 is getting ready to be heard soon by Jude B. And again, there's 7 senators on that committee, and the potential of it being opposed at that point is probably the greatest point.
No, I agree. Coming out of a committee is good or bad. If it don't get out, it don't go nowhere. But if it gets out, then it has legs.
That's correct.
And so that's my concern. And as far as the issue of sending it, I know I have done this, sent correspondence to various senators and representatives, they all have email addresses. It's not a mailing issue. The clerk can just go down the line on the legislator's website and get their email address and send it to them.
And I think it's a great idea, and if the clerk can do so, that would be great.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for pointing that out. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Councilman Segura. Councilman Hayes, you have the floor, sir.
Yes, when the mayor mentions the capital budget, what that really includes is monies to fix roads and streets. So it's vital to our citizens that we express how important the treasure chest is. Obviously, from District 3, but every district that we have here in our city. It's vital to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Councilman. Attorney.
Council President, I might suggest that before we direct the clerk to send this to all of the legislators, that let me take a look at that. That doesn't create a legal issue. Assuming it doesn't create a legal issue, we will move forward with that. And if it does, we'll find another way to get the message out.
So you're talking about the legal issue from just our body or a legal issue for the entire Baton Rouge body?
Sending from our body to the entire Baton Rouge body.
Yeah, because
so I would suggest that let me take a look at that before we do it, and then if we can do it that way, we will. If not, we will find the proper way to get it up there.
This legislation is just from our body. I don't want to miss the deadline. I want to get that in. And then the second part, we can deal with that after. So I think we can vote on this.
We can send it to the Jefferson delegation as it's already written in the resolution. But as to the entire body in Baton Rouge, let me look into that before we do that.
That makes sense, and I appreciate that.
Okay.
So, Councilman Wilmot.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And on the legal note, I just wanted to confirm, I would like to send it immediately, if we could, to the Jefferson delegation. In addition to the Jefferson delegation, the vice chairman of Jude B is Joseph Bowie, and he's a member of the Orleans delegation. So I'd like to include him as well on the immediate notice.
I would suggest, Councilman, that we send it to our delegation only first, and let me look at the issue before we send it to anybody else besides that.
Okay. If you can, the quicker the better.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. So, Madam Clerk, can you read this again, because just to make sure we're all on board with this? And, you know, there were a couple of things said. Great point by Councilman Segura. We want to get this in because we want to miss the boat, but in order to ensure we are doing it properly, procedurally, and not stepping on anyone's toes, the attorneys will check that out to send it further. So, Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir. You're voting on a resolution opposing Senate Bill 213 and House Bill 702 of the 2021 regular session of the Louisiana Legislature.
And I made a mistake before. The motion is by Councilman Wilmot, second by Councilman Carroll. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Councilman McKinney?
Yes.
Councilman Wilmot?
Yay.
Councilman Carroll?
Yay.
Councilman Segura?
Yay.
Councilman Hayes?
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 14 is items removed from the consent agenda. We have none. Item 15 is acceptance of contracts and similar matters approved by the mayor. Item 15A is summary ordinance number 12,833. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Han Enterprises Incorporated to upgrade swing sets at Erlanger Park in accordance with letter bid number 20-1970 and an amount not to exceed $9,717,000 for the Department of Parks and Recreation.
Motion by Councilmember Hayes, second by Councilwoman McKinney. Council members, please vote.
Councilman McKinney?
Yay.
Councilman Wilmot?
Yay.
Councilman Carroll?
Yay.
Councilman Segura?
Yay.
Councilman Hayes?
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan?
Yes.
Councilman Brennan?
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15B is summary ordinance number 12,834. An ordinance authorizing the utilization of GSA Cooperative Purchase Program, contract number GS-35F-0190M to purchase one-star witness interviewer recording system and accessories from Signalscape Incorporated in the amount of $8,073.87 for the Kenner Police Department.
Motion by Councilmember Brennan, second by Councilmember Wilmot. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilman McKinney.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15C is summary ordinance number 12,835. An ordinance ratifying the emergency repair for the under slab plumbing in the amount of $7,385 for the Kenner Police Department.
Motion by Councilmember Brennan, second by Councilwoman McKinney. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilman McKinney,
Yes.
Councilman Wilmot.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15D is summary ordinance number 12,838. An ordinance ratifying the policy and rates for the commercial property insurance for the city of Kenner for the policy year of June 1st, 2021 through May 31st, 2022.
Motion by Councilmember Wilmot, second by Councilwoman McKinney. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilman McKinney,
Yes.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15E is a resolution approving the design waiver for lowering the low chord elevation on West Loyola Drive over Canal Number 7 Bridge, State Project Number H.011534 for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilmember Brennan, second by Councilmember Wilmot. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Hayes,
Yay.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilman McKinney,
Yes.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 15F is a resolution approving the design waiver for use of tapering concrete barrier rail on West Loyola Drive over Canal Number 7 Bridge, State Project Number H.011534 for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilmember Brennan, second by Councilmember Carroll. Council members, please vote.
Councilman Brannigan,
Yes.
Councilman Brennan,
Yes.
Councilman McKinney,
Yes.
Councilman Wilmot,
Yay.
Councilman Carroll,
Yay.
Councilman Segura,
Yay.
Councilman Hayes.
Yay.
Motion passes 7-0. Item 16 is ordinances and resolutions in summary for first reading. Item 16A is an ordinance adopting the capital budget for the city of Kenner for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2021 and ending June 30th, 2022. Item 16B is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from John Renaudin Incorporated, doing business as B Creative, to furnish and install vehicle decals for the city of Kenner in accordance with seal bid number 21-6596 in an amount not to exceed $70,000 annually for the Department of Fleet Management. Item 16C is an ordinance accepting the only responsive bid received from LeBlanc and Theriault Company Incorporated to remove and furnish and install fuel pumps in accordance with letter bid number 21-1979 and an amount not to exceed $39,080 for the Department of Fleet Management. Item 16D is an ordinance ratifying the emergency purchase of 33 Fire Pro Seek thermal imaging cameras from Municipal Equipment Services in the amount of $17,621.67 for the Kenner Fire Department. Item 16E is an ordinance ratifying the emergency demolition of 1601 Reverend Richard Wilson Drive in the amount of $149,000 for the Department of Public Works. Item 16F is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive base bid and alternate bid received from Durr Heavy Construction LLC for the installation of surcharge fill at Fire Station 38 site in accordance with seal bid number 21-6599 and an amount not to exceed $294,793 for the Department of Public Works. Item 16G is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Signal Equipment Company South to supply traffic signal parts in accordance with seal bid number 21-6600 in an amount not to exceed $50,000 annually for the Department of Public Works and Field Services. Item 16H is an ordinance ratifying the emergency purchase of 8 LifePak 1000 automated external defibrillators from Stryker Medical in the amount of $19,542.24 for the City of Kenner Fire Department. Item 16I is an ordinance authorizing the purchase of ballistic body armor and accessories to outfit newly hired officers and replace expired body armor from Baton Rouge Police Supplies and Barney's Incorporated, utilizing state contract number 44000-20594 in an amount not to exceed $75,000 annually for the Kenner Police Department. Item 16J is an ordinance authorizing the utilization of state contract number 44000-16150 to purchase various types of ammunition from Precision Delta Corporation on an as-needed basis not to exceed $35,000 annually for the Kenner Police Department.
It's easy for you to say.
Item 16K is an ordinance ratifying the emergency replacement of the 3 air-conditioned units for the treatment plant effluent pump station motor control center by Beacon Air Conditioning in the amount of $33,485 for the Department of Wastewater. Item 16L is an ordinance ratifying the emergency replacement of the treatment plant digesters motor control center by Control Systems Incorporated in the amount of $147,205 for the Department of Wastewater. Item 16M is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Covington Sales and Service Incorporated for the lease purchase of a truck-mounted jet rodder in accordance with seal bid number 21-6597 in the amount of $154,500 for the Department of Wastewater. Item 16N is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from G&M Electric Company Incorporated for the purchase of a 20-HP replacement motor for wastewater treatment plant South Blower Number 2 in accordance with letter bid number 21-1971 and an amount of $8,940 for the Department of Wastewater. Item 16O is an ordinance ratifying the emergency cleaning of the treatment plant aeration basins and digesters by TEH Enterprises LLC in the amount of $662,400 for the Department of Wastewater. Item 16P is an ordinance approving the Blue Cross Blue Shield of Louisiana policy and rates for health insurance coverage for the City of Kenner employees, retirees, dependents for the fiscal year July 1st, 2021 through June 30th, 2022, as set forth in their proposals. Item 17 is reports from the council and/or special committees. Councilman Wilmot.
Councilman Wilmot.
Thank you. Today is my mom and my dad and my stepmom's 50th anniversary, so I just wanted to extend a warm congratulations on their anniversary. And they are Kenner residents too, so if you happen to know them and you see them about town, whether it's in a restaurant or a grocery store, tell them happy anniversary. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilwoman McKinney.
Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to point out that a lot of this is graduation weekend. My son is a senior at Kenner Discovery. He's going to be graduating Bonneville. A lot of the Jefferson Parish schools and schools throughout the Orleans Parish are going to be graduating as well. So I just wanted to congratulate them. They're going to have hope that all graduates have a wonderful future ahead of them, and just remind them to register to vote.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Councilman Brannigan.
I have been getting pounded by this track being closed at Bertolino Playground, and the mayor and I have been talking about different things to open it up, but my constituents want this thing open from sun up to sundown. We have to come up with some kind of answer to them, okay? And I know that, we've been negotiating back and forth on things. I would prefer to listen to our constituents, and I want it open as long as we can open it.
Thank you, Councilman. Mayor Zahn.
Yeah, and like our discussions, which you're saying, We have, and if you want me to do it now, I'll announce it now, what we've done. Would you like me to announce?
Sure.
Okay, so we have interviewed a part-time employee specifically for the track. Councilman Brannigan has not met the employee yet, but I interviewed him along with Deborah Foshee and Chad Pitfield. I believe within the next 2 weeks, if I'm wrong, Deborah or Chad, I believe the employee will be in place, and we're going to get you to meet with him, just to let you have some rapport with him. But Councilman Brannigan and I do both agree that putting him out there, working with the schedule of the schools, which you agree with that, because we talked about that, working with the schedules of the schools, that's when he can be out there. Now, look, part-time employees only work 17 hours, so we got to work within those 17 hours somewhere to do something up to 17 hours is what I should say. But keeping in mind the schools, it can't be open from, as we discussed, from morning to night because the schools do use it. Now, is the school schedule different during the summer? That's what we have to find out. But we know during the fall, obviously, whenever track season is,
Right.
that's an issue. So you and I talked about all that.
Right, and I understand that, but we're coming into summer, people want to be out walking, okay? And I think that with the supervisors we have in place too, that can complement this, okay?
Yeah.
But the people also have to understand that, and Chad, you can comment on this, when these high schools and grammar schools are leasing that track, then it's off limits, okay? They have to understand that, when schools are using that facility, we can't have people walking on the track. I get that, and I think they understand that.
Right.
But my goal is to get the thing open as long as we can get it open during the day, during the daylight. We don't want people going out there at night and messing around with things. But I want it open as much as we can get this thing open.
Right, and just for the record, we totally agree with that.
Okay.
And that's why we have the part-time person to work within those hours. I think Chad does need to address, though, that there's no other supervisor that can actually do it, but this is what this person's being hired for.
Right, well, what we have to take into account is that these supervisors that work at these gyms during the day do a great job, and they save all of their leave for during the summer when the kids are out of school. Because if they were to take their leave during the school season, then the gym wouldn't be available to the school kids. So most of the summer is when the leave is taken by those supervisors that are at the gyms during the day. So we're gonna come across that issue. Just wanting to let you know
Okay,
about that.
well, we can work with that, but the bottom line is, I want this thing open as much as it can be opened.
We agree.
Thank you, Councilman. And just to add on that, Councilman Brannigan and I have, spoke about some things in my capacity as the council president, and I look forward to speaking with him as his conversations with everyone else is taking place. So thank you, Councilman Brannigan, for that. And I'll take an opportunity now to speak, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to say this in the beginning, but I think it's fitting to do it now, to acknowledge Mr. Lloyd Price, Mr. Personality, who is a former resident of the city of Kenner from the Polot, AKA back of the track population. He is one of many long-line residents, entertainers from the city of Kenner: Winter Marsalis, Bradford Marsalis, Ellis Marsalis, Mahalia Jackson, all of these people. So we have had a wealth of entertainers from the city of Kenner, but Mr. Personality, Mr. Lloyd Price, has passed away, gone on to glory. We have knowledge, and I have been speaking to his manager and some of his family members. There will be a Zoom documentary from Howard University in D.C. on June the 11th. I had conversation with Ms. Foshee, who I didn't know had a little swag in her as it related to Mr. Lloyd Price. And even before this, her and I had talked about some things relating to Mr. Price. So it is a perfect segue, a perfect premonition. You may say that we had these conversations, and we will continue to have these conversations to see what we, as the city of Kenner, can show the love and respect for Mr. Lloyd Personality Price from the city of Kenner. And one last thing, I'd like to thank Mr. Pitfield. He and I had a conversation. I think Mr. Pitfield and I have that same DNA for late night. I had to drag Ms. Foshee along, but he and I think, we got it automatically. And this is like 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, talking about the light situation at Buddy Lawson. It was a beautiful picture. There are some other things need to be done there that he will be keeping me abreast of, and I, in turn, will keep the community abreast on. We are moving forward with the construction of the new concession stand. So, you know, these are signs that we are trying to bring back the recreation department to the life, to the glamour that we all have been used to, either as a player or as a parent, coach, Booster Club member, whatever you want to call it. So thanks again, Mr. P. Phil, for that call, and please don't be afraid to call me late at night because I'm kind of like a vampire, something like that, man. Thank you very much. Anyone else? Councilman Brennan, you had a, was that a, you wanted to? Well, I don't see any more comments from my counterparts here, so Madam Clerk.
Item 18 is new business. We have none. Item 19 is unfinished business and motions to reconsider or remove from a tabled position. We have none. Item 20 is persons wishing to address the council on special subject matters.
Yes, ma'am, we have a couple. Mr. L.
Al Morella, 4260 East Loyola Drive, 5th District, 49 years. Thank you, Councilman Carroll. That was my special mention. Grew up with Mr. Personality Lloyd Price, got all his music, huge fan. I want to pay tribute now to upcoming Memorial Day. This past May 7th, 76 years ago, May 7, 1945, Nazi Germany surrendered unconditionally to the Supreme Allied Commander Dwight D. Eisenhower in France. The next day, May 8th, was declared VE Day, Victory in Europe. Now, people need to understand just how close Nazi Germany came to winning that war. Had it not been for the tremendous sacrifice of our troops and their dedication and determination, Nazi Germany would have won that war. So I say to the people, these people in Washington, D.C., these people who are hell-bent on destroying the greatest country in the history of the world, from Washington, D.C., to big tech, to the corrupt mainstream news media, to the indoctrination of the children in our schools, you better think about this. What would this country look like and what would the world look like under Nazi rule? So they need to remember this. So I say this, God bless. It was the grace of God that gave our troops that determination and made that sacrifice through the grace of God. So I say in closing, I want to quote Joe Galloway, Vietnam veteran like myself, fought in the Hydrangea Valley in '65, former UPI reporter. They say the World War II guys were the greatest of their generation. Well, every war that was fought since then, those guys were the greatest of their generation. And in closing, God bless our men and women of the military, the greatest military on the face of this earth. And God bless the United States of America, the greatest country the world has ever seen. Now, I got the time left, Greg?
You got about 30 seconds, Mr. Al.
That's plenty of time, man. I want to commend the Kenner Fire Department for their collaboration with Entity and getting the power restored right away for St. John's Episcopal Church so they can have their mass back here. It just goes to show you when you work together, miracles can be performed. I also want to commend our Public Works Department. First and foremost, our employees in the field, the workers, who restored for their quick response. I called the same day I called. They was out there in my block at 4200 block of East Loyola and restored all the street lights. Anybody got any comments, any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. L. Thank you, and for all the other men and women for your service to the country. Mayor Zahn, you did mention earlier about the memorial services for the city of Kenner, just as a, because I've forgotten already, if you or one of your administrations can can repeat that again, I think it'll be good for everyone.
Yes, it's this Thursday coming up, May 27th at 10:30 at the Pavilion at Kansas City Park.
Okay, we're going to put it on our Facebook page and all of our social media for the city of Kenner.
I mean, we have about 40 attendees. It's by invitation only. Obviously, if you haven't gotten the invitation, you're about to get it. Because we're trying to not pack the building. I know we're out of, regulations, but there's going to be some, senior citizens in there, so we want to be cautious of that. So we're not going to publicize it until after.
Okay, yeah.
And this is not open to the public.
The last time we did it indoors, it worked fine. Obviously now we have the pandemic to consider. We don't want to blast it over the world, but there may be some veterans that may want to come, and as long as we are monitoring that, we want to at least give them the opportunity to come.
Yeah, Mary Sharon has reached out to the VFW groups. There's two reasons for doing it indoors. The people that are coming are starting to it's getting a little warm for them. The other reason is there's a lot of construction going on at the present site. So not in the Veterans Park part, but still just around that area. So you can have, you don't want all the noise in the background, dumpsters in the background. So we just want to be a little more cautious of that. But the heat's getting a little bit harder for them. Hopefully by November, we can be back at do the November part in Veterans Park and do the May part in indoors.
Yeah, and if it is, and listen, I always want the citizens, particularly the veterans, to come out and participate. If it is a possibility, along with General Services, to maybe put a speaker outside in case there's an overflow. Ms. Foshi, can you help with that to see if it's possible? And then that way they can at least hear. And I would gladly give up my seat to be outside for one of the veterans to come in and sit down. I think that, and Miss Mary Sharon, if you can help with that also, I appreciate it. No problem. Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Hayes, you have the floor, sir.
I think we are trying, Mr. Morella can maybe tell me this for sure, I think we're trying to invite a 99-year-old veteran to speak. So again, it should be a tremendous event if that really comes about. And that person probably would have to speak inside in an air-conditioned environment. So
Without a doubt.
Let's just be conscious of that.
Yeah, and I think, like I said earlier, when we moved it last year indoors, it was perfect. I mean, we didn't have to worry about the weather. It was conducive to some of our seniors to be able to sit down, and I was glad to sit down myself indoors under air condition. But if Mr. Morella and Ms. Mary Sharon have not spoken, obviously, Councilman Hayes, thank you for that, so they can coordinate all of those activities and events and the individuals. We appreciate that. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Councilman. Mr. Brown, name and address, sir.
Thank you, Mr. President. Richard Brown, 824 Sessions Lane, Kenner. And I wanted to thank Mr. Brannigan and the mayor for the report on Muspetolino running track. That's one of the issues I was going to bring up. I'm really pleased to know you're working on it. I want to thank Councilman Carroll also for working on this. So thank you guys for moving forward on it. I really do appreciate it. Two or three other comments and then one question. Regarding the Facebook post that people were talking about, I haven't seen them, or maybe I've seen part of it, but I was out of town almost 5 days, 4.5 days, so I have not seen them except for one or two videos. I don't know who posted them. I don't know when the videos were taken, but I do know that sometimes it is something like posts on social media that wind up getting things done. And if those posts had not been made and if those videos had not been posted, all of this would not have come up today, and we would not have known. We would not have heard from, 3 or 4 firemen and captains who said, yes, we have problems at some fire stations, especially at station, 39, that it does have roof leaks. It's an ongoing problem. So sometimes good comes from that. If the posts were misleading, that's bad. It shouldn't happen. But sometimes that's what leads to something being accomplished. Even the fire chief apparently was not aware there was a problem. Regarding Lloyd Price, I just want to point out we also have a street named after him in Rivertown, Lloyd Price Avenue. Another comment about the fire stations. It seems we have a strange numbering sequence for our fire stations. And I just wonder, is there any rhyme or reason as to how they get these numbers? You know, we don't have 39 fire stations. Well, why is the one on Vintage and Loyola Fire Station 39? It seems more logical to start with Fire Station 1 at City Hall and go up from there, maybe by order of date they were established or something. It just strikes me as odd. Even the council members don't know where the fire stations are. The public surely doesn't. And my last comment and the question is regarding the lack of sidewalks at Kenner Discovery School. It's my understanding that the Kenner building codes or the zoning ordinances, one or the other, require sidewalks whenever there's new construction. Apparently the kids are having to walk through mud to get to and from the school. My question is, why aren't there sidewalks? And what, if anything, is being done about it? That's it. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. And I would just like to say, yes, I failed to mention there is a street, Lloyd Price, which was formerly 4th Street, that was named and changed under Council Wilma Irving's watch as council person. So we want to thank her for that. That is in the heart of District 1, where many of the people that knew Mr. Price lived and his family members may still live. We do not have any more.
Councilor Brennan?
Oh.
Do you want
Okay, I'll ask Mr. Brown. Councilman Brennan, you have the floor first.
Just 1 second, please. Mr. Brown, there was discussion at one point about that the city had received grant money, and it was thought that that was for sidewalks by Kenner Discovery. But the grant actually did not allow for sidewalks to be included on new construction. That was part of their responsibility, if you will, of building the school. So the sidewalks were actually done at Kenner City Park. There is a movement underway right now. Movement may not be the right word. Ms. Candace Watkins is working on grant money for sidewalks for Kenner Discovery. So they didn't include it. I don't know about the planning and what was required and not required, so I can't speak to that. But again, that those sidewalks that money was already received went to Kenner City Park as mandated, and Candace is working on sidewalks and grant money for Kenner Discovery.
Thank you, Councilman. And this question is, I'm going to forward it to attorney / Ms. Fauché. I do know, or I think I know, that citizens are responsible for sidewalks in front of their residence now. Is that also the same for businesses that reside in the city of Kenner? Are they responsible for the installment and the repairs of sidewalks?
That is correct. At the time this school was being built, they believed they were going to receive funding from Safe Routes to Schools. So they were allowed to proceed without them because they anticipated receiving that grant. Once they were constructed, they learned that Safe Routes to School grants do not provide for sidewalks in front of new constructions, and therefore we're working with them to get a TAP grant to pay for those, which is not a Safe Routes to Schools grant, and it will cover new construction.
All right, so Mr. Brown, I guess to add it all up, it is a responsibility of the school. The administration has taken a position along with Councilman Brennan to work to try to support them in putting those sidewalks, obviously, for the babies and the children that attend that school and for our citizens that walk there. So that is the latest status. The city of Kenner is working with grant opportunities in the school and Councilman Brennan to have those sidewalks, and the money before that was used at City Park. If not all of it, I don't know. We'd have to find that out. So any more questions, you can come back to the next meeting, or hopefully that answered all of your questions. Thank you, Mr. Brown. I see no more hands up or comments. If that is the case, I'd like to get Excuse me? Yes. Name and address.
My name's Iggy Rosales. I live in Mandeville, 640 Goldflower Lane, Mandeville, Louisiana, 70448.
Thank you, sir.
Born and raised in this city, been a fireman. I'm a district chief. I work on the north side. I have the north side district. I've been on the fire department for about 32 years. I've also been a paramedic and a critical care nurse in this city as well. Let me answer your question real quick. As far as the fire stations, it's all based on zonings. Metairie has the teens, Harahan has the 20s, and we share the 30s between us and River Ridge, 31, 32, 33. So that's how the stations are numbered. It's a parish thing. He brought up a picture. So, a picture can say 1,000 words. I don't really pay attention to social media. I'm not on social media, but I've already heard, and somebody can show you a picture and just give you one angle. Sometimes there's two stories to a picture as well. I'm not exactly sure what I can add that hasn't already been added to you guys, but I just wanted to make sure that to give you maybe another side of the picture. And the other side of the picture would be something that sounds something like this. Those pictures that you've seen and some of the issues that we're talking about are the same issues that we've been dealing with. I don't actually have dates, but I don't think it's a far stretch to say that it deals back all the way back to even Katrina, maybe even before that. So if there's any neglect, which I don't really like to use that word, but if there's any neglect, we can kind of share that throughout all kind of administrations along the way up to this point. What the picture doesn't show is because you're only seeing one thing, and I'm just going to call it as it is. I've been here for a long time and not taking anything away from anybody because I don't have access to the books and I don't know everything that everybody deals with. But I do know that this administration has supported this fire department like no other administration before. So you might see, what you might see is you might see stations falling apart. Well, they only named 2 stations. We got a few others you can go see falling apart. We also have fire trucks that are falling apart. We got just about every one of our frontline engines need to be repaired. All of this stuff I realize do cost money. But never in my wildest dreams would I've ever thought that I'd be working for a Class 1 department. When I got hired, there was only 2 guys working on frontline emergency apparatus, emergency pieces of equipment. I'm looking today, and I've seen double that amount. Our manpower has increased, which was something that's been desperate throughout the years. The manpower has increased. We got gear. We got equipment that I could start spilling out all the equipment that you guys might not even know what I'm talking about, but we got defibrillators. We got a whole bunch of defibrillators. Our defibrillators are breaking. We got a whole fleet of defibrillators. We got new radios. These are our lifeline. So much good has been done. Sometimes one picture comes out and it erases a lot of the good. I don't want to get into all the political mess. I believe that that's what it has to deal with when people post stuff. It's just trying to shed negative light.
1 minute, sir.
You're telling me 1 minute and that's it?
1 minute, sir.
Okay, well then that's it. I just basically wanted to just give you another side of that picture.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate y'all's time.
Thank you, sir. So if we do not have any more questions, any more?
Councilman Carroll, just to speak to this gentleman's point.
Yes, sir.
I think, thank you for coming and saying what you've said. I think it is important, there are things on first reading for KPD and KFD for next meeting. I don't recall anything, and if I'm wrong, please correct me. I don't think we've ever had anything but a 7-0 vote for anything for the police department and the fire department. I think that speaks volumes for what this man just said, and I think the administration has given us the information, the fire department has given us the information, the police department has given us the information when we've asked, and I think we have definitely had 100% of 7-0 votes when it comes to the Kenner Fire Department and Kenner Police Department. So thank you for saying that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Fireman. And that goes to say not only this administration, since my tenure on the council, every administration has done their part in supporting. Sometimes there were some concerns or challenges, but every administration has supported the fire department and the police department. So for the guys that wasn't here, other than Councilman Segura, who had the opportunity to work in both capacities, he can definitely comment on mine or to say that what I'm saying is true, that we have gotten the support. So thank you, Councilman. Thank you, Fireman. Thank you, Chief. Thank you, Police, and everyone else. Motion by Councilman Segura, second by me. I've never done this. I'm going to do this right quick. Meeting adjourned.